Hello, welcome to my talk. My name is Joseph Mbele. Um, I am a Tanzanian. Um, I teach at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I'm in the English department. I've been here since 1991. And before that, I taught at the University of Dar es Salaam in my country, Tanzania. I taught there in the literature department from 1976. So that's who I am. Welcome to my talk. And in these talks, I'm just speaking informally as an individual. I am not representing any institution, any organization, and I'm not even pretending to be giving very high-level lectures or things like that. It's just conversation. And today I would like to address a topic that has been close to my mind for quite some time, and I have addressed various dimensions of it. This is the topic of African Americans going to Africa. I've recorded several videos on this topic, focusing on different aspects of it. And today I want to continue talking about that topic. The more I think about it, the more the phenomenon evolves. What I mean by phenomenon, this migration of African Americans to Africa, it is an evolving phenomenon. More issues are coming up. Problems, challenges, prospects. And I want to focus on issues that have cropped up so far. I read what African Americans write. I listen to what they say on social media about their experiences in Africa. So I want to address some of the recurrent ones and to try and offer some suggestions. This is going to be a very brief talk, I can assure you. So basically, I think these African Americans, or maybe the majority of them, go to Africa believing that they have a right to go there. It's their homeland. And I definitely understand and support that notion. Those who want to go to Africa to settle have a right to do so. But then the problem is this. Yes, they have a right because of the history of slavery, how their ancestors were taken out of there against their will to be made slaves here in the USA and elsewhere in the Americas. I believe those who want to go back have a right to go back, and Africans on the continent need to think about this, appreciate this, and embrace this idea. I really call upon Africans to reflect on this and handle this phenomenon, with that kind of understanding. That's my view. However, the problem is African Americans should not have this sense of entitlement that makes them question why they need visas, why the immigration processes are so complicated, perhaps, or cumbersome. There are a lot of complaints about this from African Americans I'm not saying all of them, but there are plenty of complaints about why do we need a visa? It's our motherland. It's our home. Persistent complaints. I sympathize with them, but I also need to say the Africa of today is not the Africa of 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 400 years ago, when their ancestors were taken out of there. We have now independent countries, independent states, which have laws and immigration rules. I don't like the fact that our continent was divided into those entities. This was an imposition by Europeans, and we definitely don't gain anything from that division of our continent. However, the reality is we are independent countries now, laws, immigration laws, which have to be followed. So African Americans need to slow down and face that reality that there are immigration laws. Those African countries scrutinize requests, for citizenship, just like any other country in the whole world. It's very complicated in the USA as well. Foreigners coming into the USA will tell you how complicated the immigration process is, even just getting a visa to come to the US. So African Americans, need to be patient, need to understand this complexity of the problem, and tone down a little bit that sense of entitlement. Another problem that I see that has cropped up, and that's very visible in these statements that African Americans make who are already in Africa, is the savior complex. I'll call it the savior complex. African Americans feeling that they have solutions to Africa's problems, and they are quite impatient. There are a lot of different kinds of problems, some of them cultural, political, economic, whatever. The danger is that African Americans, just like other Americans, go out there with the notion that America is the greatest country, that what Americans do, the way things are done in America, is the one proper way to do things. That America sets the standard about, various ways of doing things. And so the Africans have to be taught how to do this, how to do that, how to run their lives. That savior complex is quite a problem, and I would caution against it. I would advise that African Americans, take their time to understand what Africans want, to understand, what Africans consider, essential in their lives. They have their own ways, their own concept of what's good for them. They have their own ways of doing things. And they might not be interested in doing things the American way. And so when African Americans complain, sometimes it appears as if they would like Africa to be like the USA. Well, if people from the USA want, to experience, American type life, American type conditions in Africa, then they probably should not even go away from this country, from the USA. Why go to the continent of Africa if all you want is an American experience? That would be the question. I understand African Americans leave the USA especially for reasons such as racism. They say they don't want to endure the racism in the USA. They want to be in a place where, they feel accepted, where everybody looks like them. That's the way they put it. So, yeah, they should leave aside, they should leave behind this notion that there is a need for Africa to be like the USA. Then to elaborate a little bit on this, African Americans will see, services in Africa. They will see the infrastructure, and they will see it's not comparable to what they have in the USA. They will see a dusty road, for example, an unpaved road, and they'll comment about how terrible that is. But the thing is, from the African point of view, from the point of view of the people who live there, this dusty road could well be, and in fact is, a great improvement considered to, what they had maybe 20 years ago. Maybe 20 years ago, they didn't have a road there, but then they have made a road. Yes, it is dusty, but compared to what was there before, this is a great improvement. Same thing with things like power, electricity. African Americans will go there and they will see the intermittent supply of electricity. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, and they complain because they don't experience this, stoppages in the USA. Yes, from the perspective of the USA, that's a terrible thing, but look at the matter from the perspective of the Africans. Maybe, they didn't have electricity at all 15 years ago, which is the case actually. Electricity is still spreading, in those African villages, for example, and some villages have not been reached yet. So from the point of view of those Africans, there's a historical perspective there. 20 years ago, they didn't have electricity at all. Now they have this, it may be intermittent, but it's a big improvement. So what African Americans need is perspective. That's the point I would like to make. Yeah, to look at the reality from the perspective of history. What was there 10 years ago? What was there 5 years ago? How do the Africans themselves respond to this fact that they have a dusty road, that they have intermittent electricity, for example, and so on and so on and so on. The issue of perspective can help African Americans cope with what they are experiencing and seeing in Africa. And then there are cultural issues, which I talk about, all the time. There are cultural issues. And they come in the most unexpected ways. So, for example, African Americans will go to the market And then they complain about being charged a higher price than the price charged to other people. There are a lot of complaints. And again, people need to study the dynamics of the African market. Yes. And I address this topic and many other topics in my presentations. I offer a lot of, the perspectives in these books. There's this book here, Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. And then there is a sequel, Chickens in the Bus, More Thoughts on Cultural Differences. So this business of the marketplace, for example, I talk about this extensively. The fundamental thing here is for African Americans, to do the homework before they even go out there, and to continue doing their homework, studying the culture. It starts with studying yourself, to know yourself. And it's a baggage that can cause you a lot of problems, because we all pick up our cultures and we all embrace our cultures. We all assimilate our cultures, and we look at the world, through the lens of our own cultural standpoint. That is the baggage, and it can be the source of a lot of problems to all of us. So understanding ourselves, even as we try to understand the other people, the people of the other culture, studying, those types of things. This is the kind of work I'm doing in my writings and in my presentations. And if you read this book, you will see what I'm talking about. As an American, it doesn't matter whether you're African American or white American. It's the same for the Africans. We carry our own baggage, and we use it to comment upon, to judge the ways of the Americans, if we happen to be in the USA, for example. So it's a journey. It's a journey for all of us, and I am very excited about the work I do, writing, making presentations. I have this YouTube channel. Check it out from time to time. Let's have conversations. Comment on what I say, in the comment section on my videos. Well, I wanted to make this short video to highlight a few issues relating to the experience of African Americans in Africa, and relating to the whole movement, the whole migration of African Americans to the continent. Keep following my channel. There will be more videos, and I'll stop here for today. I wish you all the best.